In this video, we're going to be covering step 9, understanding how to turn one client win into a case study that will attract more and more clients, high quality inbound leads. So as always, let me go ahead and share my screen. If you want a copy of this, that process has not changed. All you have to do is check the pinned post on my Facebook at Alec J. Roy. It will tell you how to get it 100% free. No phone number, no name, no email, no sacrifice your firstborn child. It is completely painless, super easy to do. Now, the goal of this training, as I just mentioned, is to understand how we can turn just one client win into a literal client magnet that will attract high quality inbound leads, okay? In this training, I'm going to share with you what I believe to be the most effective marketing asset that 95% of clients that I work with are not using properly, and that is case studies. For reference, this is the only change, it says biggest change, this is also the only change I made in my client Eric's funnel, and that put $176,000 in his pipeline in less than 28 days. But before we start, I need to give you a heads up very quickly. I prefer making client magnets as opposed to cold calling, cold emailing, even cold DMing, okay? This is so much better. And this client magnet method works so well with both paid ads and just organic standalone, okay? Now, you want to stick until the very end because I'm going to break down exactly how to use this asset so you don't mess it up. Now, you might be thinking, well, how would I mess it up? I had a client, you've got Eric on one hand who followed my process to a T. We put 176K in his pipeline in less than a month. Then I gave the exact same template, the exact same script that we have in Sales University over to another client. He did not follow it. We then took those case studies and uploaded them. He didn't follow it. He still wanted to upload it. It gave us put zero clients in the pipeline because he did not follow it the way I told him to follow it. So please pay very close attention. Now, let's start by outlining characteristics of somebody who would want to work with you, right? Number one, somebody who wants to work with you has to, number one, have the capability to afford your services, has to, number two, have a need for your services. Number three, they have to agree with your approach and your solution. That's why we make content, step 6. And number 4, they have to trust you enough to give you their money. Remember, this is an online money game. This is like Scam City. You have to be trustworthy and you have to be a person of your word. This is why creating social media content that attracts qualified clients converts significantly higher than outbound efforts. It's natural and it satisfies the search intent of the lead. Basically, that means that you position yourself in the right place so when the lead goes to look for a solution, they can find you at any time. So how do we now accomplish these 4 things in a single marketing asset? Well, that's what the case study is going to cover. Now, before we do that, let's look at where the pressure to generate revenue essentially falls, right? There are 3 main levels when it comes to generating revenue. You have your offer, you have your marketing claims, and you have sales. Now, let's look at this. A good offer sells itself. What did we cover earlier in this training, right? If you have a bad offer, you're going to have more pressure essentially trickle down onto marketing. Now, good marketing will put money in the pipeline. However, if you have bad marketing, if you have bad content, you had better be really good at selling one-on-one. So good money then then good sales has to put money in the pipeline, right? And if you have bad sales, then you have no money. So what we're seeing is that a good offer has potential to generate revenue. If the offer is poor, then the marketing claim takes that pressure. If the marketing claim is also poor, then the pressure trickles all the way down to sales. If the sales are poor, which 90% of you are really bad at it, then you are not generating money. If you're sitting here saying, I've been doing high level for months and I've got no traction, no clients, I can't keep anybody, guess what? Your offer sucks, your marketing claims suck, and you probably suck at sales. That's why I'm making this free content to help you out 100%, because I'm trying to do 3 things. I'm trying to build my online presence so that way I have more eyes on me and I can essentially, number 2, help more people. When they're helped, they'll think, well, what is it like working with Alec in a one-on-one situation or in a group setting? And then they might work with me. And number 3, if they never work with me, that's perfectly fine because they don't have to pay me. I get my watch hours and views. YouTube then pays me, and all you have to do is click skip ad. And again, I've said it 100 times before. I'll say it again. If skipping ad after 5 seconds is too difficult and that makes you angry that YouTube is paying me, let me know where you live regionally and I'll send you a list of therapists, okay? As I was saying, if you have a good offer, then marketing and sales should simply boil down to just sharing what that offer is and answering any questions. And any salesperson, if you have sold for longer than a month, if you have actually sold, I'm not talking about you were the cashier at McDonald's and you're trying to get more money through the drive-thru. I'm not talking about you were on the floor at Walmart and you're just directing people. I'm talking about if you were selling for commission. There's nothing wrong with either of those jobs, by the way. I've worked very similar jobs. But if you are actually in a position where you selling has a direct impact on your commission, you're going to understand that it is so easy to sell exactly what the prospect wants as opposed to selling what you think they want. And again, we've covered this in the earlier stage of the trading where I say sell what they want and do your market research, right? Now, case studies are going to be absolutely anything and everything when it comes to marketing assets. If you want a piece of content that will naturally attract attention, you have to satisfy a few requirements, and case studies do this. You have to tell a story, you have to share social proof, you have to have emotional and logical appeals, and of course, you need to create natural desire or demand. It cannot be forced. You cannot force the relationship. When we combine all 4 key points of high converting sales techniques using case studies, then we essentially start seeing the impact. We start seeing the direct impact of having all of these into one piece of content. Here's why. Case studies tell the story of where the client was before they started working with you. It tells the story of how they felt working with you in the process of actually working with you, and it tells the story of the results they got afterwards. Case studies are the definition of social proof, especially if you do them using client interviews, which is my number 1 recommendation, because you allow an actual client to do the speaking for you, which resonates with similar avatars. This is another reason why niching down is key. So what do I mean by that? If I'm saying, hey, I'm really good fit for dentists, come work with me, I'm a really good fit. But if I'm speaking with a dentist and the dentist is like, wow, you changed my practice and this is amazing. Before I was working with you, it was like XYZ. Then we started working with you. I was really nervous at first, but we started seeing results. And now we're at this monthly recurring revenue, this level of profitability. The team is much happier. We're so much better organized. Guess what's going to happen? Other dentists are going to hear that testimonial in the form of an interview case study, and that's going to resonate deeper with them. So having somebody speak that has nothing to gain, but instead has won with you is going to just have much better impact, right? Number 3, case studies use emotion and logic because they focus on quantitative data, which is basically the numbers, the business performance, and qualitative data. This is the emotional benefit of a more successful business, right? We are happier, we are more organized, we are whatever, right? And number 4, case studies use soft sales. This is my absolute favorite part. They use soft sales to qualify and disqualify because the client can share pricing as well as who they think should and should not apply to work with you. It's my favorite way to wrap up a case study interview is I'll say, hey, how much did you pay to work with me? They'll say it, which kind of disarms the sale a little bit because they go, oh, well, he paid it and look at the results I got. Maybe I could pay it and get those results. And then they will also wrap up with saying, hey, you should work with Alec if you're this, or that. Or you should not work with Alec if you're unmotivated, unfocused, you refuse to follow his process, you don't want to niche down, you don't use social media content, right? And so that is going to, again, this is how you get high inbound quality leads because they already know what they need to or don't need to do. They already know who they should be and shouldn't be. So you're qualifying, further warming up those leads, and you're trying to sort out the riffraff at the same time. So let's look at storytelling. You gotta leverage storytelling in your marketing if you want viewers to connect with you and your offer. Guys, men especially, you cannot just make an appeal to logic. You have to have the emotion. You have to tell the story of the journey. You have to tell the story of the brand behind it. So to reinforce my concept, let me share some actual statistics. These are not my statistics. I have the link right here. 92% of consumers want brands to make ads that feel like a story. 55% of consumers are more likely to remember a story than a list of facts. 68% of consumers say that brand stories influence their purchasing decisions. Companies with compelling brand stories have a 20% increase in customer loyalty. That's going to be big if you're in monthly recurring revenue because your CLV is now increased, your client lifetime value. And 64% of consumers make a purchase after watching a branded social media video. What is the process I've been teaching you? Social media, okay? There's the link there if you want to fact check me. Social proof. You need to show how your offer has helped others. Social proof provides tangible proof of concept. Proof of concept means not only am I saying this is what I do, I have proof it works. I have evidence it works. I have data showing it works, and I'm not just yapping out of the wrong hole, okay? It takes the step past showing the offer, and it shows how that offer impacts people directly. Let's look at some crazy stats. Look at these numbers. I mean, these are better than some of the grades you guys got in high school. 92% of consumers feel hesitant to buy when there are no customer reviews available. 88% of Gen Z and millennials use social media to research products they're interested in buying. 87% of consumers would not consider a business if it had less than a 3-star average rating. 79% of consumers have watched a video testimonial to learn more about a brand or product. 75% of marketers believe that user-generated content makes their marketing more engaging. Guys, this is screaming you need social proof. And again, this is a really big one for men specifically. Most of the women that I've coached, I know I'm being very reductive, prejudicial, however you want to phrase it, being very reductive of men and women. I've just seen that women use this much, much better than men, and they almost always do so much better on social media because they already understand this. Men are just always like, well, you need it in your business, so you got to buy it. It doesn't work that way, right? You got to have a little business foreplay, okay? Again, statistics right here if you don't believe me. Let's move on. Emotional and logical points. You need to heavily leverage the emotional drivers and motivators alongside your logical points. So this is saying, men especially, again, you have to have the logic with the emotional. Let's look at what the Harvard Business Review says, right? That's a pretty cool name, right? Pretty hefty name, right? We find that customers become more valuable at each step of a predictable emotional connection pathway as they transition from step 1, being unconnected, step 2, being highly satisfied, step 3, perceiving brand differentiation, to step 4, being fully connected. Pause. What did I explain was the purpose of a funnel when we were covering the funnel? It's to take somebody from not knowing who you are to knowing who you are, what you do, and wanting to work with you. I'm not just making this stuff up. Don't trust the guy who sounds like a frat guy with a backwards hat and a receding hairline. Don't trust me. I'm using stats to back up my points. The exact thing I'm telling you to do. We shouldn't trust you unless you have social proof. I'm giving you proof. I'm giving you data. I'm giving you stats, right? Continue. Although customers exhibit increasing connection at each step, wait for it, their value increases dramatically when they reach that 4th step. Fully connected customers are 52% more valuable on average than those who are just highly satisfied, which again is step 3. In fact, step 2. In fact, their relative value is striking across a variety of metrics such as purchases and frequency of use. Translation. When you do this the way that I'm telling you to do this, your leads will become clients. Your clients will buy more from you. Your clients will stay longer with you. That's all you got to understand. Again, fact check me right there if you would like. Next, we want to create natural desire and demand. So you don't want to force a sale. If you force a sale, the client goes in there thinking either A, I want this to fail, or B, and they're just bracing for him back the whole time. Even when the wins come, they're just waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? So you want to create desire around your offers. That way people come to the conclusion that they want your offer, and you want them to come to that conclusion on their own. Think inception, okay? The best sales pitch plants a seed inside the client's mind. It doesn't try to close them, definitely doesn't try to close them right then and there, but rather it focuses on fostering a relationship that leads the prospect to fully buy into the process. Here's a really corny meme I made, so hope you enjoy, but here we go. Tells a story about client without pitching. So you're just telling the story. Wait, can you do that in my business? Funny you ask. When you do case studies, people will ask if you can do it in their business. We cover this in niche selection. When you do really well, when you have case studies in that industry, you might even have people from other industries coming to you saying, hey, can you do this in my industry? I know you work with dentists, but I'm a chiropractor. It's kind of medical. Could you do that with me? Right? You will see this time and time again. So how do we actually build your first case study? So you can interview a previous client or a current client. When you do it, I would recommend doing it over a video call so that way you can take that interaction and you can post it on YouTube and reference later. You want to ask the client to share where they were before you, what it was like working with you, the highs and the lows. You want to know what results they got, and you want to know how that impacted them outside of work. Did that benefit their mental health? Did it benefit their family work-life balance? What did it benefit, right? When you ask those questions, by the way, little pro tip, ask the question and then shut up. Stop talking. You want them to do about 80% of the talking. You just want to float them dingers or you want to float them, slow pitch, and you want them to just be hitting dingers out the park, okay? That's what you want to have happen, right? Then you take the video, you post the YouTube video, you post the video on YouTube, and you can reference the case study when you go to answer the question, why me? We covered this in step 6 when you're doing your PAC content, your problem engineering content, where you have to frame yourself as a solution. When you're framing yourself, you can say, oh, hey, we got these results. Check out the interaction here. Check out the case study here. Check out the interview here, right? So that's what the purpose is. It's not only saying, hey, I've done this before, but go ahead and fact check me on that, right? And again, I explained above how marketing can be made easier if you have a strong offer and proof of concept. This is now proof of concept. If you do not, listen to me, if you do not have any case studies, that needs to be your next focus 100% because it's going to make everything so much easier. And if you want to understand how to get your first clients as fast as humanly possible, I've linked another training right here. 100% free, 100% free. And as always, I got a little YouTube video at the very top for you. Again, let me know if you see another affiliate guy doing that, right? I have a feeling after I drop this, we're going to see more doing it, but let me know until then, right? Key components. Client background, you want a brief overview of the client's businesses and challenges. Objectives, what were the goals or objectives that you set for the project? Did you meet them? Strategies implemented. Cover a little bit of the process of what you did. That way it gives weight to the fact that it works. Results and outcomes, you need quantitative and qualitative results, data and feedback from the client. And you want to have your testimonials, direct quotes or feedback from the client. Now, in your funnel, we covered this. You want to have your testimonials at the bottom. You can have your client interviews or you can have little testimonials. But the next client you have, I know a lot of you are doing this. You go, oh, can you send me a little 60-second testimonial? No. Can you get on a 15-minute call with me? I'll ask you questions. You answer them honestly. That's what I want you to do. We do not need testimonials. They don't do anything. Oh, Billy was awesome to work with. You should work with Billy. Susan is the GOAT. You should work with Kenya. No. Get on an interview, have a full in-depth conversation where it's raw, vulnerable, open, and honest. That is the big difference. Now, are the testimonials useless? No, you can put them in your social media content, but they are watered down. They are useless when we're talking about the difference between that and this, right? And now let's look at some tips for compelling case studies. Use visuals, take screenshots, put them in there. Keep it concise yet informative. You should be talking as little as possible unless it's covering the process of what you did. Focus on the client's journey and the impact of your services. Next, you want to take those case studies and you want to strategically place them. So once you create your case study, you want to link them on your funnel and reference them in your content. This will give your words more weight and it can even act as a hook. For example, you can say, here's how we took a marketing agency for car detailers from $0 to $8,700 in monthly recurring revenue in 5.5 months. And that's a true story. Action items. Pay attention. If you have any previous client wins, you need to go and build those case studies right away. If you cannot interview them, that's fine. Type it up and basically explain the situation. But you need to do this. If you're thinking, by the way, oh, he said I could type it up so I can skip the interview. No, you're wrong. Stop. If you can have the interview, have the interview. If you can't, create it yourself. You want to go screenshot any and everything that shows a win, text messages, analytics, dashboards, anything and everything. Place those wins on social media and in your case studies. And if you don't have a case study, you need to claw your way to your first case study. I already included the training up above. Now, if you want this training along with the entire free course, all you have to do is check my pinned post on Facebook or Instagram at Alec J. Roy. It shows you how to get it for 100% free. I don't need any of your personal information, okay? Now, if you run your own agency, I want you to take this information and run with it because you can do all this stuff. You can take it, you can run with it. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be time consuming. I know that because that's how I did it. It took me 3 years to do what I probably could have done in 3 months, but that's okay. I was so stubborn. So if you're stubborn like I was, no hate, no shame, go and do it. For those of you that want to do this much faster, this is 100% free if you join using my high level affiliate link. If you don't want to use high level, you can pay $97 a month, quit whenever you want. If you work with me, we're going to get results faster and quicker than if you don't work with me, and that's perfectly fine. You're going to get case studies faster and higher quality. You're going to get exact scripts for absolutely everything. And you're going to get protocols to understanding how to not only get new clients, but keep the old ones so you can increase your monthly recurring revenue. When you join, we get a 45-minute to 60-minute meeting, just you, just me, no interruptions. And then you're dropped into a group coaching environment. You get access to all of my trainings. You get website and funnel reviews. You get trainings released immediately. You don't have to wait. There's no drip. You get all of it right away. We have 2 90-minute group coaching calls. You're going to learn how to streamline and automate your business using Six Sigma practices. We have local SEO courses dropped every single month. We have full SOPs on how to automate your agency so you can work less than 3 hours a day the same way I do. You get an agency snapshot and we drop industry-specific snapshots every month that you can then use for your own clients. And again, it's free. It's 100% free. Why am I doing this for free? Build my presence. I want to get more eyeballs on it. I want you to use this to get to a certain level and then say, cool, how do I work with Alec? And if you never want to pay me, perfectly fine. YouTube will pay me. All you got to do is click a skip ad button. It's not that serious. If you want, there's a link to join. This is step 9. In step 10, we will cover the say so process, the process from which I derived my name. And this is the actual process that I built myself. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, requests, drop them below. I will answer every single one of them. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.